Military! Halt!
Hey guys, George here, and today I'm going to bring to you a video about fanaticism. We're going to read the rule and do a couple of examples on the map board to get the hang of it. And what inspired me to do a video about fanaticism was Dan Pacaldi. A couple of weeks ago, he called me the fanatic of ASL. A real nut. Must be because I eat nuts from time to time. Um, if you have any spare nuts, keep them to yourself. I got plenty here. Anyway, enough with the joking around. I'm not going to play Dan's video because every time I play a YouTube video while I'm recording, the whole system just goes kaput. I'm pretty confident that the recording is going well now and that you can hear me. I'll double check before I release the video and upload it. But anywho, fanaticism is actually covered under Alpha 10.8, and the rule reads as follows. Fanaticism is evoked only by SSR or battle hardening to depict particularly heroic or desperate performances in a particular situation. Now, while I was studying history of war with Professor Bailey, I'm not too sure if Dr. Bailey is still alive or not. He was pretty old when I had uh, taken that course back in the late 80s. And he had this concept called the impetus of blows. And essentially, what it entailed was there were instances throughout history, the history of conflict, where you had two opposing sides, and one side took so much blows that at one point it had stood its ground, and the hunter became the hunted, and the hunted became the hunter. Um, and pretty much when you're playing Eastern Front scenarios, like I do, you will come across quite a few scenarios where they either invoke fanaticism for a particular area of the map or for a duration of certain player turns. So in the case of Winter Melee, for the first turn, the Russian cavalry, uh, no, I'm not sure if it was for the first player turn or for the first turn. Anywho, at least for the first player turn, I'm pretty sure that the cavalry were were under fanaticism as per the special rule. Um, the other example of fanaticism can concern a particular location. So going to the map, let's say the SSR says um, all units, all Russian units in and around and surrounding building N2 are considered fanatic. So what that entails is that, or what that means is that all these units have their morale increased by one, both for their uh, good order and broken side. And again, just to sum up, it could be for a location or for a particular period of time throughout the duration of the scenario. So pay close attention to that when reading the SSRs. Imply that you don't. Anywho, going on to the second sentence, a single man counter created from an already fanatic multi-man counter is also fanatic. Okay, and any unit classified as fanatic has both its normal and broken morales increased by one, and it's not subject to cowering, surrendering uh, by the rout phase, or patsy. Fanatic troops are not subject to disruption, although they can be reduced, broken normally for all purposes of unit substitution. So let's dive into it a little bit. Um, and we'll skip the single man counter being created from a fanatic MMC for now. But We talked about the broken morale being increased by 1, not subject to calorie. All right, let's go back to the drawing board. Let's say these folks here are fanatic and they want to fire a group against this unit. They don't want to fire against this unit because they already are in a stone building. Let's see if you can see that. Stone building, right? So that's +3 to their DRM. Plus 1 unit will be subject to a hindrance. That's a total of +4. An 8 firepower attack with a +4 DRM ain't worth taking. Um, Most likely you'll invoke the sniper and nothing else. But a 4, an 8 up 2 certainly is worth taking. They're under fanaticism by SSR. So let's roll and see if they cower. I got an 8 on the 8. 4 plus 2 is 6, plus 2 for the protective cover of the building. 8 on the 8 is a normal morale check. If I had rolled an 8, the roll would not cower to the 4 table because by SSR they're fanatic. I don't have to necessarily put the fanaticism symbol on like this or a special counter. Um, so this fellow incurs a normal morale check and he passes. Pretty simple. So no cowering. Now, let's go back to the rule book. No cowering, surrendering in the rout phase. Let's do that. So, yes, go back to the board. Here we got a broken fanatic unit. Ordinarily, since this unit has to low crawl either to J5 or L5, he would have to surrender to this unit here. However, since he's under fanaticism, as you can see, I hope you can see. Here, let me remove that on the counter. As you can see, I have the little fanatic flag on. All he has to do is low crawl or attempt to take interdiction and go to his route location. Now, why didn't I pick this as his L4 as his route location? Beats me. Because technically he could low crawl here because from this location he doesn't have line of sight to any German unit there. Now, the last example is Patsy. And what do we mean by Patsy? Let's go back to the drawing board. Here's my drawing board. In this case, let's remove the prep fire. I have an armored fighting vehicle stuck in the middle of the road. Interesting. And I have him situated in such a way where his bow is facing this direction because his vehicular covered arc is facing L4 and his coax is facing M3, and this fellow here has wall advantage. He would have had mandatory wall advantage, but I put the wall advantage counter there to signify that he had possession of the hex first. Okay, just to be clear. So the coax over there can fire a double the firepower, and his bow can fire there a double the firepower. Except this guy here, he's fanatic. So let's just do a fire attack and see how this ensues. The bow is 3 firepower factors, doubled for point blank fire is 6 because we're firing in the IFT. 6 up 2. Let's take that attack. Wow, 5 on the 6. 5 on the 6 is pretty good roll. 1 check. All right, so the Panzer just scored a 1 check on him. Let's take a morale check. Bang, he broke. He broke because we rolled an 11, as opposed to anything lower than an 8. We're not going to break him for now, at least because we want to follow through with the example. And then the coax actually was a 6. Bow, coax. 6 up 2. We rolled I've been in the same thing. A 5 on the 6 is still a 1 check. Yeah, we did that right. Okay, now the coax is a 5 as well. It's a 5. So we got an 8 up to attack there against that unit behind the wall. 8 up 2. Bang, 4. That's a heck of a good roll. 4. That's a 2 check. Nearly killed the guy. And he broke. Now, the reason why I situated this tank like this is because if the bow was facing the wall, he would not be able to use the bow against a unit behind the wall. The wall blocks the bow machine gun. He is also in a very precarious situation because he's in the middle of a street, conceivably not exactly in between buildings. I'm not too sure if street fighting would apply. So let's pretend for a moment that the Soviets did survive all the German attacks, and it's the Soviet player turn. What can ensue in the advanced phase is this fellow would need a patsy to get into close combat with them. So let's roll a task check. 7. He gets in, and because he's fanatic, he doesn't need to pass a patsy to get in there. Boom. Close combat comes around. They're not in a uh, woods or building location. There is no ambush. However, they each have a CCV value of 5, close combat value of 5, and this close combat is not sequential. The infantry fire first. So let's go and try the fanatic first against the tank. And roll a CC of 6, 1 greater than I needed. The tank can combine um, their firepower to 8 versus a 4 versus a 5. 8 versus a 5 because their CCV value is a 5. So it would be a 1-to-1 attack now against one of the 2 infantry, or a 1-to-2 attack, I suppose. Let's see if the tank can eliminate one of the 2 units. Nope. And then the last infantry unit would do a close combat. Tank is eliminated. Now I'm not too sure if all the infantry had to fire attack before before the tank took its turn. I did it that way. If I'm wrong, please correct me. However, I rolled snake eyes, and this dude is a burning wreck. And burn. Less than half of the CCV value that I needed. That's what I rolled. Sometimes this dice is amazing, man. So we covered cowering, surrendering during rout phase, patsy. Fanatics are not subject to disruption, although they can be reduced normally for all purposes of unit substitution. So basically, if you have a fanatic conscript, it breaks, and it ELRs while it breaks, it will not be subject to disruption. And the last one is creating an SMC that from a fanatic unit. So basically, there's 2 ways of creating a single man counter, and it's not heat of battle, but it's called field promotion, right? And in field promotion, the 2 ways is on the first MMC self rally, you roll snakes, or snakes on any MMC die roll, close combat die roll. So basically, let's pretend that it was the fanatic unit that rolled fits perfectly into this. I couldn't I couldn't have made it up. So let's say the fanatic unit had rolled these snakes, right? Then that is leader creation or field promotion under Alpha 18.2. And basically, um, what we need to adjust our little single die roll with would be +1 for it being Russian. It was not broken. Its base level was not lower or equal to 6 or equal to or greater than 8 versus an AFE or per odds on the 1-to-1 column. Not really, or maybe. It could be. Anyway, let's roll it. A 1d6. Worst case scenario is we add a +1. So let's roll it. 1d6, a 6. We got a 6 plus 1 leader. Well, actually, it's 7. It's nothing. Let's say it was netted out. Okay, and we rolled a 6. We would get a Fanatic 6 plus 1 leader. Never had that before. And let's get a Fanatic 6-1 later. Certainly, it just doesn't coincide with um, everything in there, but let's pretend the dice roll did abide. We would get a Fanatic 6-1 leader. So there you have your Fanatic 6-1 leader, assuming I had rolled a 6, okay, without taking the die roll modifiers into consideration. Name the fellow. Let's name him Berkey. Berkey. And right click and make him a Fanatic. Point. How's them apples? So those are the ins and outs of fanaticism. Now I'm going to think of a creative video title for this video, and I'm going to upload it to ensure that when Dan does a summary, he's going to read a nice, interesting title for you guys. With that said, take care, roll low, and be well. Take care, and thank you for liking and subscribing, guys. Take care.